Wisconsin. Who doesn't enjoy our cheese-loving, cow-milking, risk-taking, beer-drinking, mostly German and Irish-descended state? Regardless of your feelings towards the Badger State of ours, today is all about Wisconsin. Specifically, the structure of Wisconsin's state government. First of all, let us begin with Wisconsin's legislative system. Our legislative branch is bicameral, as most are in the Union. It's separated between the Senate and the Assembly. These two sections have many powers gifted to them by the Wisconsin Constitution. A few of these powers are the ability to pass laws and enact resolutions to affect state policy and to design programs.
Hey, dear folks, I'm standing outside the Wisconsin state capitol, okay, because I'm just trying to take some legislative action into my own hands, trying to change up the flag a little bit, okay? Those guys have been holding those tools for far too long. They need to be holding some beers, okay? Hey there, Miss Ford, maybe we can get you on the flag. Instead of holding the pickaxe and the rope, get them some beers. Also, you gotta represent the women. They like drinking too. Miss Forward told me to tell you that.
And we're gonna have to fix it fast because my arm's getting tired.
Okay, in order for Democrats and Republicans to work together, what kind of beer and what brand?
Well, that's simple. You just ask these guys. Hey there, Tim, what kind of beer do you want? Okay, so Tim wants to buy the Dave, what kind of beer do you want? You're gonna have one of Miller Lite. Okay, you know what? I'll trash it. The state flag will have the women and the beer.
Cheese.
And the cheese.
Sausage.
And the sausage.
Well, it should just be a giant tailgate party is what you're getting at, right?
You would just, this is collaboration. And while we're at it, change the slogan to keep her moving. The first draft of the bill to get the women and the booze on the Wisconsin state flag and change the motto to keep her moving and to get the state sport to Big Jenga.
Congratulations.
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting.
Leadership within the legislative branch is divided between the majority and minority leaders of both houses, the President in the Senate and the Speaker of the Assembly, along with a few others. Both the Senate and Assembly elect members such as the Chief Clerk and Sergeant-at-Arms, who performs duties relating to the Senate and police action. Our current Sergeant-at-Arms is Ten Blazel. The Chief Clerk runs business around the legislature. They act as senior administrator and have responsibility of documents that come in and out of the legislature, as well as keeping records of proceedings, enrolling members, allocating office area, and more. The current chief clerk is Patrick Fuller. These people, along with their various staff members, execute business within the legislative branch. The whole of the legislature, elected members included, are all assisted by 5 independent, nonpartisan agencies who carry out fiscal, legal, auditorial, and policy research. Beyond that, the 5 assist with drafting bills and other legislative documents. Now, to return to the bicameral nature of the Assembly would be to talk about the different powers vested in the 2 chambers. Many powers are given specifically to one chamber or the other, but many more powers overlap. For example, most confirmations are performed by the Senate, but the Assembly can do so as well. An example of privilege given to only one chamber would be impeachment trials of an official held only in the Senate, but can only be called for by the Assembly.
Now on to the executive branch.
Hey, dear Wisconsin. As you can see, I don't got a tie on. My hands are on my hips in the super cash way. There's dramatic music playing underneath. That can only mean one thing. I'm just one sunrise shot away from announcing I'm running for political. Oh, there she goes. Okay, folks, I'm entering the 2018 the 2018 governor's race. It's between a couple 2-3 Republicans and a couple 2,000-3,000 Democrats. But you know what I always says? Why vote for someone running when you can vote for someone?
Hey, Uncle Mike, can I drop a ski there, guys?
Skiing. Someone who will make sure this economy ain't just working for the big guys. It's also working for them little guys. There was a goat here to get our map for us. Someone who protects Wisconsin's environment.
Keep the bottle cap in your pocket, no pollute.
An advocate for the guys and not guys in uniform.
I'm under the philosophy that if you set the bar low, you can just walk over it. And I'm glad that today I didn't trip. Keep her moving, guys.
Someone who ain't afraid to stand up to oversized orange bullies with bad hair.
Franco, this isn't fun. Come on.
I've been talking with Wisconsinites from DeForest to Rhinelander.
How's your mom? Yeah, tell her I says hi.
I know what voters want.
You never steer me in the wrong direction.
They want someone looking out for the less fortunate.
Sweet, that's a beer.
When they got two.
Someone who can shake some hands and kiss some babies.
Hey there, baby.
Mwah. Okay, sorry. Hey, Rockabye. Jeez Louise, someone who supports the local economy. If you got $165 just sitting around, why don't you consider buying this antique grinder? Someone who thinks all people should be drinking equally. Someone with the highly coveted endorsement of Muskie Slayer, Grandpa Bob.
Oh, God, almighty.
Holy smokes. That someone's got 2 thumbs and a duck jacket. This guy. Keep her moving. 2018. I'm the Man-at-Walk Minute Guy, and I approve of this message. Just as soon as I say go Packers, the Bears. Yeah. Guys, don't forget to subscribe real quick and share this video with some voters. Also, if you get one of these flags, we're donating part of the proceeds to the Boys and Girls Club of Milwaukee to help them keep her moving.
Wisconsin's executive branch is headed by our governor, Scott Walker, aka the state's chief executive. In addition, the state constitution also allows for the election of 5 additional constitutional officers to help run the executive branch. The 5 are the Lieutenant Governor, Rebecca Kleefisch, which she presides over the Senate, Secretary of State Doug La Follette, who is required to record all official acts of the legislative and executive branches, State Treasurer Matt Adamczyk, who is the state's chief banker, Attorney General Brad Schimmel, who oversees the Department of Justice, and the State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Dr. Tony Evers, sometimes referred to as the State Superintendent of Schools. The core responsibility of the executive branch is to execute and administer policies, programs, and laws created by the state legislative. These laws are executed by the state's many departments and independent agencies. There are approximately 30 departments and agencies in the state of Wisconsin. Some notable departments are the University of Wisconsin System, the Wisconsin Investment Board, and the Wisconsin Homeland Security. Next, the judiciary branch. Wisconsin is comprised of 3 court levels. The first level is comprised of trial courts called circuit courts. This level of courts is comprised by 250 court judges across Wisconsin. The next level is the Court of Appeals. This court reviews trials through an appeal by someone who is dissatisfied with the circuit court's ruling. The Court of Appeals is organized into 4 districts with a total of 16 judges. And finally, the highest appellate court is Wisconsin's State Supreme Court. The court is composed of 7 judges. With the permission of state statutes, the state allows for municipalities to create their own municipal courts. These courts handle violations of municipal ordinances such as traffic, parking, juvenile, and other violated ordinances. Decisions made by municipal courts may also be appealed by circuit court.
All the branches of Wisconsin's government are following the goals of federalism, which is to preserve personal liberty through an equal and divided government. In order to maintain this, each branch of the state government has unique checks and balances that relate to the federal level. They are as follows. The legislative branch is kept in check by the judiciary in 2 main ways, one of which is the ability of the judiciary to determine if a proposed piece of legislation is constitutional or not. This also applies to a governor's action. The other check is to address conflict between local, state, and federal laws. Federal law supersedes state law due to the supremacy clause of the federal constitution, but state and local laws have the ability to conflict. Some checks the executive has over the legislative is the power of the governor to approve or veto legislation. The governor has 6 days, excluding Sunday, to pass a veto or bill.
Wisconsin's government, like most states, reflects and highlights many of the same attributes that make up our federal government, but with having its own twist. This has been Caden and Kyle reporting for the App Gap.